and welcome to Hallelujah Babes. We are your hosts, Loni and Tarrah, two besties on fire for Jesus.
A podcast where we keep it real about faith, salvation, and the goodness of God.
Get ready to join us on this uplifting journey of real stories, real faith, and real transformation.
So grab yourself a coffee, settle in,
and let's get started. Why, hello, everybody. Welcome back, Hallelujah Babes. Welcome. How are you, Tarrah?
I'm excited. I'm feeling really good today.
Yay.
I have so much new, happy, exciting things going on in life.
Really? Okay, do share.
Well, I'm graduating on Wednesday from esthetician school.
Nice.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Like every day, Monday through Friday, leaving my house around 9 a.m. to go to work. I work till about 4-ish, and then I jet over to school from 5 to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then if I have it in me, I will hit the gym from 10:15 to 11:15 p.m.
Wow.
And I do this every day, Monday through Friday. I have no free time. I have no appointment. I have so many doctor's appointments I need to make and just catching up.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 6 months.
6 months.
It's very exciting because this is something that I've wanted for so long, and I did it. And I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm very proud of myself.
That is so awesome. So where do you go from here? What's next?
I am going to take my state board test. So I'll be going in next Monday morning to the school to go over, making that appointment.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to help me make that appointment to take the test. It's a written test. They used to have a practical and a written.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to have to, bring in a friend and do the little procedures or whatever.
Yeah. Facial on them.
Yeah. All the little things that they have. But they don't require that anymore.
Interesting.
Which is very crazy to all of us. State board is concerned about is just the infection, sanitary, client protection. It's just it's 100 question, multiple choice test. And
do you feel prepared?
Yeah, I have an app that I do these practice tests on, and I've been passing them. So,
Yay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So once you pass the test, you get your license, and then are you planning on going to work somewhere?
Right. So I set up a studio in my house. I have a really cute treatment room.
Yeah, you do.
And so I can start bringing clients into my home, and building my clientele that way. And then also I would like to go work in a day spa somewhere and get that experience outside. And I'm going to have to continue education because it's very basic knowledge in esthetician school. It is just the bare bones. And you don't really start learning and experiencing until you're out there in the workforce.
Yeah.
And in the spa.
Totally.
So that's really where all of that's going to come in. And I'm going to need that. I personally really like the face, like the skincare. I like doing the microdermabrasions and the facials and the peels. I want to make your skin glowing and dewy and real beautiful, and just kind of work on the treatments of maybe if you're suffering from acne, let's work on that. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I do not like eyelash extensions. That is crazy.
Torturous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When we learned that, we sat down. They were like, okay, you're going to learn eyelash extensions. I was all excited.
Yeah.
And they're like, here you go. This is how you do it. And I was like, wait, what? This is what people do? They're taking one individual lash.
Oh yeah.
And they're gluing it to another individual lash on your head. That is insane. I was like, what? When we're sitting there, I was like, I cannot do this, you guys. I feel like I'm in working in a little China sweatshop or something.
Exactly.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And there's some girls in there that love it. They love it. And I'm just like, oh, freaking wow.
Yeah.
More power to you. Someone's got to do it, but it ain't going to be me. I'll tell you what.
Totally. I agree. Well, I think again, that's just everybody has their niche that people really enjoy it. People really enjoy doing hair extensions, lash extensions, whatever it is. Luckily, some of us are drawn to all different things. That way we have a variety of treatments, because let me tell you, I'm not cut out for stuff like that. I do not like to sit still. Like I just don't like, even like an office job. When we were young, my gosh, I worked at the Wax Man, and I would literally sit there and make sales calls, answer the phone, book all the appointments, like dispatch the teams, do all of the things. And oh my gosh, sitting in an office 8-9 hours a day was just not
torture.
cut out for me.
Yeah.
This is not the life that I want to live.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't like that either.
Yeah. It's to be able to have the freedom to do something that you enjoy doing, you know, it makes it so much more doable. You know, I feel like we missed that point. I think our school system is so broken. I'm such a believer that the school systems do not teach us to work for our strengths. I think we're all just taught the same thing. Like it's not even like anything that typically most of us can use in our lifetime. Right. And it's like, why not teach people to find like what their natural skills and talents and passions are, and help them go in the direction of building a career in that.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. And it's like, we all think that we have to just work these. It really is. Yeah. Honestly, I have to say, and I don't know all the details or facts on this. You can fact check me and I might be wrong, but I've definitely heard just throughout the years that the education system truly was designed to create like slaves and employees and people that became, I want to go with a little bit of robots, right? They didn't want them to be free thinkers. They wanted them to be controlled and like a really good, I guess the best word I could use would be a slave, right? Mm-hmm. You wake up early, you go sit in a desk and you keep your mouth shut, you listen to the teacher, you do as they say. It's very structured. I mean, even schools look like prisons, right? If you really stop and think about it, right? Yeah. Genuinely was designed to take, I want to say, creativity out of human beings and create little worker bees. Wow. And if you look at the society that we live in today, we're also just accustomed to going to work, getting paid, going to work, getting paid, and building somebody else's dream. Right. And obviously we become a slave to the dollar because life is so darn expensive. It's like, how do people even survive today? But if we in our lives would stop and be like, what were my God-given gifts? Like, what did God put in my heart and my desires to do in this world? I think that people would be a lot more happy and probably make a lot more money and have a lot more success, and the world would run a lot better because people wouldn't be miserable. Yeah. These jobs that they hate, being enslaved to, not that I think there are some jobs that people love for sure, but for the most part, the day in and the day out, like the monotonous things that you do when you don't get to be creative or use your own brain. You don't even have to think. You just are told what to do and you just go in, you just check out and you just do your job and then you go home. It was a product of design.
Yeah. That makes sense. Wow. Oh, hey, the Easter was yesterday.
I know.
Oh, it was beautiful. This is my first Easter that I actually got to, worship the Lord and like really felt that. I was very emotional on Friday, thinking about how Christ died on the cross for us. It like hit home so hard. Kristen called me in the morning and she's like, just our normal chit chat, saying, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" And I was like crying on the phone. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Jesus died today." And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, but it's so sad. Like, it's beautiful, but it's so, it's heartbreaking when you really think about it." And it just really broke my heart, just how beautiful and lovely he is. And to do that for us, to take on that pain and that abuse for people that don't even choose him back, So I was really emotional all day Friday, just sitting in that sadness, but also like gratefulness too,
Oh, absolutely.
And then, Sunday I went with my neighbor, Mary. We got up at 5:30 a.m. and I went to the sunrise, service. And this is funny because I said to Mary on the way, and it was so cute. She's like, "Lord, we just thank you for this day." And we're just like worshiping God together. And then she says, "Amen." And I said, "Hey, Mary, guess what?" I said, God's coming back when Tarrah's getting up on Easter Sunday at 5:30 a.m. to go to church.
Totally.
And she laughed,
That is so funny.
Because I used to, Easter was fun for me in a different way. And it was about drinking and partying. And I used to get those eggs and put shot bottles in them and stuff. So,
yeah, totally different realm today.
And hide them for like
Yeah.
the adults.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it was really beautiful. And then I went with my kids to Easter at our church at 10 a.m.
Okay.
So I did the 6 a.m. service outside, and it was good. It was good. And at Revival, and then we went to our church, The Way, and did that at 10 a.m. And it was just beautiful. I mean, me and my daughter were crying.
Oh,
he did a really cool thing. In the beginning, they did us like a little clip movie of Billy Graham, and then they were showing the Passion of the Christ like filtered in through that, and then you got to see the visual with also like Billy Graham speaking behind it. It was just so touching and beautiful, and me and Lacey were crying. I had some tissue, I ripped it in half and handed it over to her because I only had one, and she grabs it, she's crying with me. And
oh, that's so cool. Did a lot of people get saved?
Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Yep. Yeah. So in the gym, one of the guys that work out in there, he's a pastor for a church in Norco or Corona. I think it's in Corona. And
at our gym here?
No, at my gym that I do with my trainer in Corona.
Okay.
And so this morning they were talking about his Easter service, that he said that so more people yesterday accepted Christ than in the entire year.
Oh wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So when you say that God is moving, me and Chloe were having this conversation this morning because it just seems like Satan is attacking so many people right now. And, I had a friend call me yesterday and she was having a really difficult time. And it's like, it's a heaviness that's in the air that I feel like you can feel of just, I want to say the spiritual warfare, which we talk about all the time. And I ask people all the time, I'm like, is this like just the season of my life that I'm in right now, that it's like I'm so aware of it, because I feel like God has gotten my attention and woken me up so much that I'm just like, it's hard to unsee it, right? Where you're just like, oh my gosh, like what is happening in the world? But you talk to more believers, even non-believers, and I feel like a lot of people are in the time of like struggle and suffering. And I genuinely believe that, and like I always talk about on this podcast, is suffering and the struggle, I think, is what brings us to Christ, right? Is what truly brings us to our knees so we can surrender to him. And I think that God is waking people up, because I genuinely do feel in my heart that, God is going to be returning, and who knows what that means. I mean, 100 years to us, obviously, is a blink of an eye to God. Our time frame is not his time frame, but it feels like things are changing, and it feels like people are seeking and just desperate for Jesus. Do you feel that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that happened to me.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think,
and you too.
Yeah, 100%. I think that it's amazing how he's showing up in so many people's lives, and it's really cool to see and hear that God is moving in so many people's lives. And I think that is why we started this podcast, was to really just share our journey and our life of how God has changed and transformed us. And really, I think my heart is always like, okay, Lord, like, how is it that you can use us to bring people to you? And so, through this podcast, through social media, just always encouraging and showing God's light through us. That is kind of what I feel like my God-given purpose is. And, it's hard publicly to live your life out there and, to be on this vulnerable walk, because a lot of it came from first God breaking me down. Right.
Yeah.
And so I've been on this journey of just growth and transformation, and really a lot of isolation, and I think that you're kind of like, oh my gosh, Lord, like he's removed so much out of my life. But this last season of Lent, just I felt like I was in a lot of isolation, and like purposely so, right? I chose to be that way so I could focus on him and his purpose and these changes in my life. They accepted my offer on my house, so I will be moving to Texas.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a big announcement.
Yeah. So lots of big transitions, but I think that when you are out living in this world and you just feel like you're kind of getting beat up by the world, and you just are tired and worn out and lost and floundering and frustrated and hurt and dealing with anxiety or depression, or I hear it every single day from somebody of just being attacked or just struggling or, financially stressed or big changes happening or heartbroken, whatever it is, I feel like the season that God has shown me in my life is surrendering to him. A lot of people say, what does that mean? Right? What does it mean to fully surrender to God? And it took me a while to understand, because it's not just something that you can just snap your fingers and do, right?
Yeah.
It's a journey. Surrender is a journey, and it's a learning journey. And it teaches me that God allows hard times in our lives, right? To get us to wake up to look that, hey, look, I need to surrender. I can't carry this alone. I'm strong, but I'm not strong enough. And I'm, good, but I'm not good enough. Like, I'm all these things, but I'm not enough without Christ. And so God genuinely wakes us up by the struggle, surrender. And then what surrendering to him every single day to me, I think through Lent, taught me was just starting your day off with him and not making decisions, not making moves, not making any type of thing in our life without communicating it with God first, right? I think that's what surrender to me has meant. Like it's you literally, he is the boss, and you do your life with him. And so, you go through life, and we're taught to make all the decisions, to manifest and to do all the things and to be in control. And it's not how God intended it to be. It's confusing that we're taught that, because then you're like, oh my gosh, it's not working. I must not be doing it right. But as soon as I've surrendered and I started just holding God's hand and saying, hey, okay, we're going to walk side by side. Okay, Lord, like, what does this look like? What does this feel like? And that peace that he gives you when it's where you're supposed to be, it feels right. And then when it doesn't feel right, God shows you, and I think that it's always a progress of growth. 9 months ago, I still was about just manifestation and, creating their own success and me being the God. And I have to say that changed for me probably kind of like right when I decided to not do the Both Sides podcast anymore. It was like kind of when God changed my heart. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I loved the podcast. It taught me so much. I really enjoyed working with JD, but he literally changed my heart. Like he was like, you can't make it about you anymore. And it's not about you anymore. And it's like that transition of change. And so surrendering is us truly dying to ourselves and saying, Lord, like, whatever you have in this life for me, if it's not from you and it's not your will, I don't want it. And that is such a comforting place to live life by.
It is, because it's like, I've realized that I have less stress because of that.
Totally.
Because like I was just like really trying to do it all on my own, and like now I don't really feel that. Like I do have to obviously do things. I'm going to school and making moves, but I don't have to worry. Like it's not on my shoulders anymore, so it's really helpful.
Totally. I would say you're not carrying it alone, It's, I think that, and this is where I think for people listening that are like maybe in a place of your life where you're just like, really, where do I go from here? Surrendering doesn't mean laying in bed and doing nothing, right? And that God just handles everything. It doesn't. It does take action, but it doesn't come from panic. And like, I think that for me, it's like that survival of like, oh my gosh, I need to figure it out all now. God is like, breathe, calm down. You're not coming from a place of trust and faith. You're coming from a place of anxiety and fear, right? And so I think first it's take that deep breath and say, Lord, I need you to show up for me. And I think turning on Christian music, getting on your knees and just praying, opening up God's word, just talking with God throughout the entire day, and just keep giving it back to him. Lord, that overwhelm comes of like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm moving across the country. Like, what does this mean? Oh my gosh, what if Satan gets in and our brains activate, and then we overthink, and then you can analyze, and then it just takes you down that spiral. But when you're like, okay, Lord, I've asked you to open up doors, and I have been patient, and I've taken the slow, and I've gone against my complete typical MO. And I'm just like, Lord, your will be done. If it's not for me, I don't want it. And the peace that comes with that, and the inner knowing of that it's just the right move. I can't tell you, I left Texas. I was not even planning on looking at houses. I walked into this house. I just knew. I can't describe it, But okay, Lord, like, is this like what I want, or is this a no? And you doubt, right? So you're like, okay, it feels right.
Oh, good.
It does.
Yeah.
Then you pray about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, Lord, I want this house. This is the offer I'm putting in. There's a number in my head that I had that I was like, this is the number.
Yeah.
And if Lord, if this is from you, this will be the number that we're going to pay for this house. That was the exact number that we ended on. And so it was just like, okay, things come up. You're still like, okay, Lord, like, if this is it, is this the direction we're going to go? And he just keeps opening up the doors, and you just keep walking forward and trusting him.
Yeah.
I think that is how we're supposed to live our lives. It's that blind faith of just knowing that, hey, look, we might not know what tomorrow holds, but as of right now, today, I'm doing my part. I'm praying, I'm seeking. We all know what we need, right? We all know what action, I guess you could say, needs to be taken, right? If you're in a situation and you're like, I can't survive financially, Lord, I can't pay the bills, I can't do these things, I need you to show up. You need to be on your knees and asking God, is this a push? Is this a time of transition and change? Like, what, Lord, will get me out of the situation that I'm stressed and struggling in, that is your will in my life? God doesn't want his children to be stressed and struggling and fearful and not being able to eat. Like, that's not the God that we serve and we love. That's the world we live in, and that's the stress and chaos and fear and slavery that we've got put into the system. But if you truly hand it to God and say, this is my problem, I need you to show up and show me how to navigate this. He's not going to just give you the answer, but he'll say, okay, we got this together. And you're not going to struggle forever. You're not going to be in the situation forever if you trust me. But it is us to take that one step after another, and change requires change, and again, I just posted today, I really liked what it said. I'll read it to you guys because it was just so true. You cannot keep asking God for peace while staying in the very place he told you to leave. Peace isn't found in comfort, it's found in obedience. So you can place that in any type of situation in your life: relationships, jobs, friendships, whatever it is. God doesn't use comfort for change, as we talk about in your career. Where do I go from here? You were stressed out last week because a lot of your clients are walking away, dropping. You're losing them. Right. But if you didn't lose them and you were super comfortable, I know, it'd be a lot more difficult for you to make that change.
Yeah, no, it's very true, because throughout this whole process of school, people have asked me, so what are you going to do? Are you going to, what are you going to do with the cleaning business? What are you going to do? Are you just going to become an esthetician? Are you going to drop the cleaning business? What are you going to do? Both? And honestly, my answer was, I don't know. I am giving it to God, and I'm just asking God to just lead the way of what I should be doing. Because I don't know. I don't like to walk away from money. I don't like to walk away from accounts that I have built and that are steady and stable. I've had this cleaning business for 19 years, and it's been a very well-oiled machine, and it's very stable. And so I don't like to walk away from that. That's very hard. But also I do know where I want to go, and I want to become an esthetician. I truly, genuinely love skincare and all that scene, the spa, and the environment is just so relaxing,
Oh, totally.
So me. So I remember saying to my classmates and stuff, just when people or anybody who would ask me, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to, I just said, I don't know. I don't know. But all I do know is that right now I need to focus on what I'm doing today.
Yes.
And what that is learning how to become an esthetician, and focus on my class, the schooling and the tests and the hands-on and whatever my teacher has for me to learn. That's what I'm doing today, because tomorrow I will, that will come.
Exactly.
And I'll worry about that tomorrow. I'll worry about that next month. But today is what we're doing today.
Totally.
And so I would just tell God, like, I don't know, whatever, whatever you
100%.
want, just please just have your hand in my life and just guide me. And it looks like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Like he's literally closing doors for this cleaning business, just one at a time. Like I said in a few podcasts before, this has never happened. Like the amount of like doors that are being closed in this business that I have is just wild. Like in all these years I've had this business, it has not happened like this.
But that's how change works. And so I think that, and this is looking from hindsight, even just like in our lives, right? Of just, again, from our experiences, when you're in it, you can't see it.
Yeah.
You're just like fearful. You're scared. It hurts. It's painful. You don't make sense of it. But it's also having that trust to be able to kind of keep your life moving forward, And so for me, when I moved into this house, that was not my plan, right? My plan was I sold my home that I lived in for 10 years and I had just gotten married. We were building a life. And when that whole relationship went down, I just turned my life over to God. We were just in a really dark spot. And I was just like, Lord, I need you to show up for me. And he did. And so what that looked like when he showed up came with a lot of pain. And that was because I was seeking him to get me on the path that he wanted for me. Lord, I need you to fix the situation. I don't know where to go from here. I literally remember surrendering to him. And I'm not kidding you, within 2 weeks, probably my life changed overnight. I was literally filing for divorce, to moving into Canyon Lake, to going through a lot of transition, and the transition was heartbreak, right? I thought that person was the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I genuinely believed that. And God was like, nope, closing the doors. Now in hindsight, you're like, oh my gosh, like I was going down the exact same path that I lived in for 20 years that God knew I wasn't meant for, right? He's like, Loni, no, like you need to get out of this life of party and sin. That is not what I have in store for you. And when you surrender and obedience and you want to get out of that comfort zone, it requires change, and it does require obedience. It required me to walk away from that world that all I knew, and it was hard and it was painful because it then goes into my friends, right? I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, how come you're not having my back? How come you're not loyal to me? Like, how come you're not showing up for me? What is going on? And in hindsight, now I'm like, God was no. No, Loni, you're getting the point. Your life has got to change.
Yeah.
You've asked me to save you. You asked me to put you on my path. It's going to take obedience of walking away from everything that you've known, because you don't get to have both. You don't get to have comfort and security and stay in the old life that you had and get change. If you want change, things have to change. My scenery, he knew me. He knew you weren't strong enough, Loni, to not go down that realm of the party lifestyle, to go down that realm of just getting myself in the same situations. And again, it was just taking me out of a situation that he didn't have for me. Does it make those people bad people? No. Does it make it, that wasn't my path.
Right.
But it came with a lot of pain because it looked like, truly, I mean, you were just like, how does nobody have my back? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And God's like, they're not here to have your back. I have your back. I'm actually have your back so much that you don't even know what's good for you, Loni. So it doesn't come with comfort. It does come with pain. But again, looking in hindsight, my heart feels so safe and content, and my life is just still so peaceful. And I'm so proud of myself for being able to change and to be able to make the strides that God has always called me to do, because it wasn't easy and it's never going to be easy. But it's the journey is through the pain. But then you look back and you're like, wow, like it all makes so much
it all
sense.
Works out for the glory of God.
It genuinely does. And it's like, you just like, nope, I don't have any bitterness, anger, anything. I'm just like, it was what God's plan was. Those people were just not this season of my life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
The next season of my life, God's like, I have big things in store for you. You keep being honorable to me and you keep listening to me. I'm telling you, I'm taking you big places. Just be ready. Yeah. And do I know what that journey looks like over here yet? No, because God doesn't show us that. But the journey that he's taken me on just the last 10 months to where I was to who I am today, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't turn back 1 ounce of that pain, that betrayal, that any of that thing that I felt to be able to become who I am today and to feel how I feel today and to be so close with God today. I learned to trust him so much because when you actually surrender and you take those steps, and it's not going to be easy in the beginning, it's not going to look like roses and sunflowers. Following God takes obedience and discipline and unfortunately pain. And once you get through that transition and you surrender that old self and all those things that I thought was what I wanted, you look back like, oh my gosh, like we don't even know what we don't know. It's like I always have that envision of like the little teddy bear, right? The little girl's holding onto the teddy bear and she's like, I don't want to let go of it. Like, I love this thing. And God's like, trust me. And he has this massive teddy bear, you know, that he's holding behind her. That is so God's purpose. And I've lived it. I've experienced it. I've walked it myself, that I know that God does do that because he's done it for me when you surrender. But you're never going to get the change. You're never going to get on the path that God has for you unless you're willing to obey him and take those necessary steps to let go of the things that are not for you.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I'm at too.
Yeah. And it feels good.
It's so cool.
It is.
So cool. I love it.
Yeah. Has it been hard for you?
No, it's been really easy, actually. It's been easy because the peace that I have that comes with it. I've never felt this kind of peace before. Just knowing that he has me. So I like this. I'll tell you, out of the two roads that I've traveled, I enjoy this road better. Being in God's will, like being covered by like his hand and stuff. Staying within his will is just, I like this better, obviously, because I wouldn't be doing it.
Of course.
I really like it. It's very comforting and peaceful over here. And I'm very excited. I'm very much looking forward to what God has in store for me. And I ask him every day, like, just please keep me in your will and just open up the doors however you want, wherever you want me to go. Like, I'm just a willing participant here.
Yep.
And I want your will for my life.
Totally.
So,
and I think that is cool. That is the prayer, that if you're in a place in your life right now, just ask God, say, Lord, remove the things that are not meant for me.
Yep.
And bring the things that are. And I'm going to tell you, that is a powerful prayer. And you have to be prepared for God to respond if you mean it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you say those words and you don't mean it, you're not willing to do what it takes to walk away yet, because you're not maybe ready. And I think for me, I wanted it, but I wasn't ready to fully go down that path. And I think that that's why for me, it was a very painful process, because I'm very stubborn. I am. I'm very hard-headed. I am very much like, I'm very driven to like that stubbornness in me, right? I'm going to succeed at this. I want it. And so it took God having to break me and to make it extremely painful for me. I lost a lot of friends. I lost, a relationship. I lost, my home. I lost stability, security. I had to walk away from a lot of things that I thought were for me, but God so knows best. It was like, so that obedience is not gonna be easy. At least it wasn't for me. And it sounds like in your case, and maybe this will hopefully be, if you're out there and you're more of like a Tarrah, that you're just like, you've just kind of not like, I was desperate for God, right? In that time when this all came into my life, I was desperate for God because I was heartbroken and I was shocked and I was hit out of nowhere. But I think that for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's because God was like, no, I'm saving my girl, right? She belongs to me. Her heart I've belonged to God my whole life. I've always had him, and he didn't allow me to do that. And I think that is what I'm so grateful for, because God literally came across and literally like slapped me across the face. I felt like it was like, nope, you're mine. But it's like a parent, right? Like you spank your kid out of love, and God disciplined me out of love. And he was like, no, trust me. And I was kicking and screaming the whole way. I was mad. I was hurt. I was angry. I was this and that. And then I'm like, oh, this is what you wanted. But it's like, it takes, for me, it took that to respect it and to look back and appreciate it, and again, if you're out there and you're more like a Tarrah, where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're like, I've done this walk for freaking 30 plus years. It's not working. I need to try a change. You luckily you were smart enough to pivot on your own.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart enough to pivot on my own. I knew I wanted it. I didn't even want to say smart enough. I knew I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough to pivot on my own. And God knew that. And he was like, Loni, I'm going to make you so beaten down that you have no other choice.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And I will take the beating every day over and over and over again to become who he's creating me to be.
Me too. I love it. This is good. We're in a good place, girl.
I agree. Feels so good.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for the future.
I know.
You know, I'm so sad to be moving for sure. Actually, I'm going to convince you to Texas. Just watch. I'm convincing. No.
It's the weather is kind of crazy.
Oh, we're not even going to talk about that.
I'm like, I don't want to push.
I know. I've been to Texas many times. I know. Yeah. Actually, so my friend that's out there now, I have a few girlfriends that moved to Texas. They're probably like an hour and a half from my house. And one of the girls is who we're going to train with when we move up there. But there was a tornado warning. And I texting her, I'm like, are you guys okay? And she's like, we're not cut out for this. They don't have storm shelters or anything because tornadoes don't come to that area where they're at. It was the first time.
So what do you do?
Pray that it doesn't hit your area, I guess. Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't really know. I'm sure that there's certain areas in the house, I say get in the center of the house, things like that. For me, I 100% going to have a storm shelter, not underground. Because my fear is like, you're in the middle of like we're in the country, right? Yeah. So you're underground and like a tree falls on the top of it. You can't get out. Help. My name's Loni. I'm new to Texas. Nobody even knows I'm here. I mean, Chloe. But they make them like they actually make, you can put like in your closet, like they're these little like things that you like bolt down and you can get in. And I would definitely probably have one of those. But again, it's very rare. My aunt's lived there for 10 years. She's never had a tornado. So it's not super common where we're at. But again, I mean, anything's possible in today's world. So that is definitely something that I'm just nervous about. But again, I mean, God's not going to just forsake us, you know, and it's just, the doors have opened and it just have this peace about it. I'm really excited about it. The home is absolutely beautiful. The property is beautiful. It's about 12 minutes from town. I'm excited. I'm excited for a fresh start.
So didn't you say, what did you say?
Yeah, I feel like, again, God in this transition has had me in a moment of solitude. You know, he's kind of just taught me a lot. Just help me overcome things, help me heal, he's transformed me. I can't even describe it. He's changed my life. I don't even feel like the same person. I have this new confidence, this peace, I want to say confidence is probably a really good word, is because I just know that God has such a huge plan for us. And in even the business realm, like I look at God as my business partner. I'm like, okay, Lord, like, what are we going to do? And he's just like, just keep sharpening those skills. Keep doing what you're doing. I take a lot of time right now. I'm learning to study a lot and just doing all of my due diligence. And so there's a lot of just stuff like that's happening in the back end. But I feel like it's funny how I felt like it hasn't fully hit yet. And that was because it's just that feeling is God's not yet. So when you walk day for day to day, I'm like a person like, we need to do this now. And it's just like, be patient, just be ready, and opening up other doors and, you know, just fixing things in my financial realm, you know, helping me with investments and just making my money work for me. He's just educating me, and he's just taking me and just taking that accountability and responsibility of your own life. And it just feels really good where you're just like, okay, like, I just feel like I'm just ready to just go like run full throttle, if that makes sense. Like, I just feel like God is like taking me, this basically kind of broken me down, remolded me, put me on this foundation. He's like, okay, let's get ready to do this. And it's like, that's what I feel like for me, the vision of Texas is just kind of like almost finally the stability of a home. Cause that was another thing in the back of my mind. Like, this house is temporary. Like, I wanted to get my roots set. I needed to get my horses here. I wanted to get all those things done. I kind of feel like this was the last open-ended part of my life where it was like, again, I was like, okay, well, another year, I'll just stay here for a year. It's comfortable. Just keep it. And God's like, no, we're not delaying it a year. You're not going to just figure it out then. 'Cause that's what I'll do. Just procrastinate it. And that it was like, the homeowner calls, is like, yeah, I'm going to sell the house. It's that closing of the doors where that's how God moves. It's like, oh, okay. And then first you panic, like, oh my gosh, like what? Like, I can't do that right now. That's not part of the plan. That's where I can't focus there. But God's like, before you launch this and before you do this, Loni, this is not where I have you. Yeah. You know, and so it's it's when you walk with him daily, it's so crazy how it all plays out and it all falls into place. But that only happens when you're in obedience and when you are walking hand in hand with God.
Yeah.
When you're in fear and you're in anxiety and you're in stress and you're in worry and you're stuck in that brain, that is only going to delay what's meant for you longer.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue our podcast after you move.
We are. We're going to do it remotely. Yeah. Which is very common in the podcast world. So I'll show you exactly how to do it. Tarrah is our non-techie one.
It's bad. So bad.
It's so simple though. Honestly, I'll get you all set up with all the things. We'll probably have to like set it up at your house and just leave it here.
Yeah.
And all you do is turn it on and log in and I'll help you do that. But I've done it so many times now. I can just like literally walk you through it hand by hand by hand if I have to.
The more that I do it,
the easier it'll be, 100%. But yeah, so we aren't going anywhere. I do believe that God has a big vision for Hallelujah Babes, because again, I think it's needed to just hear how God works in people's lives. I mean, this is our life, and we're sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly, but it is all spoken on truth. It is all spoken on our truth, our story, our journey, and your journey is going to look different than mine, and yours is going to look different than mine, and mine's going to be different than yours. But God is real, and God is faithful, and God is truly wanting to work in your life if you just allow him to. And I guess for me, it's just, I want to just share how that looks, how that works. You know, I've gone from losing a lot to a lot of pain, to a lot of hurt, to a lot of suffering, to just this overwhelming sense of peace. And not that life's perfect by any means. There's still, life is life in every day. But it's having a partner like Jesus back you and have him guide you. There's like nothing I can describe besides the fact of knowing that it's all going to be okay. Like you don't have to worry. You just don't worry. It is so cool.
I love it. And you guys, don't forget, if you want to share a story of how God's moving in your life, a cool testimony, we really do want to hear it. And
we do.
I love hearing testimonies. They're my favorite. And I think it could bless others.
Absolutely.
So please let us know, write in, tell us what you got.
Absolutely. And even if you need prayer and you're just in a place where you're like, I don't have a testimony yet, but I need guidance, I need prayer, let us know. And we have got you.
We will do it. Hallelujah, babes, on it.
Hey, our new sign that we can barely see. It's very cute, but it's kind of
to be light pink.
I know, we might paint it.
Babes. It just brings pink. But then again, you know, pink is my lovely favorite color.
Totally. I know. Do you think pink will match?
I think it doesn't matter.
That's true. And this is only going to be our podcast room for probably another 30 days, maybe maybe 60 days, maybe.
Oh,
okay. I'm for sure going to be out of this house by July 1st. So what are we at? It's 2 months still. But I'm going to start moving in increments, you know. But I'll probably escrow 30 days with a week back. Rent back is what they're taking. So that puts us somewhere in middle of May. End of May.
Oh,
crazy.
I'm excited.
I know, me too. So we're going to let's just see what future holds for Tarrah. Is she going to be a Texan with Loni, or is she going to see a Californian forever?
I don't really know any other place than California.
Of course.
This is where I was born and raised.
Yep.
But, you know, my daughter is 22, and not that she is going to be having a baby anytime soon. Let me clarify. But like, her and her boyfriend have been together for 8 years in August.
Yeah.
And he's great. We love Tyler. And she's finishing her bachelor. She's going to be going into grad school for her career. And she's very driven with what she's doing. But, you know, when she does have a baby,
you're like, I want to be close.
I want a little hallelujah, babe. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even, like, now I get it. Now I totally understand why grandmas are so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I know that I'm going to be the most awesome grandma. And I'm going to love the crap out of that baby.
Oh, I love it. That'd be so fun.
Imagine, like,
I can't wait for the day, for a very long time too, for my child, hopefully. But yes, I cannot wait for the day to come when I am a grandma and I love babies. I honestly wanted to have a baby just a couple years ago. I was like literally like feeding for a baby.
See, I don't want one of my own.
Yeah.
But like, I want my baby to have a baby so that I could have a little grandbaby.
Exactly. And then you just give back when you're done. I think I'm now at my point in my life where that's the season. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, you gotta go back to the
exactly. All the stress and chaos of raising kids, we just get to watch them afar. Yeah, exactly. All the fun stuff. That's too great. Awesome. Well, it was a fun conversation today. We hope everybody out there listening has a fantastic week. And like we said again, if we can help you, pray for you, hear your testimony, we'd love to hear it. Reach out to us. If you go onto the comment section, you can message us or text us, I believe is what it said, and you can reach out to us right then and there. So
Great.
awesome.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.